Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here. Today we're going to look at the Christian in sports. I was in the AT&T store recently, and on the big screen they had, one of the television stations, a special, The Religion of Sports. There's many books out about the religion of sports out there. I think it's incontestable that they come together and they have a service and they give expressions of praise and get feelings of elation predicated on their team winning, and feelings of depression and delation predicated on their team losing. And so it has all the attributes of, and I'm talking about organized sports, all the attributes of a religion. And it's something people talk about. It takes the place of God. Instead of people talking about the goodness of God, they talk about the goodness of their sports teams. They're rabid. They call them fans, which is short for fanatics. Find it fascinating. People are like, don't get too serious about that Jesus stuff. And then they paint their face green and get pom-poms and all this kind of stuff and become fanatics over sports. There's a spirit. We're not the first generation that has wrestled with this. If you read Victorian England, they wrestled with it. If you read Middle England, they wrestled with it. The Romans, of course, the Colosseum still stands. They wrestled with it. The Greeks, it was overt God worship there. Gymnastics, the very term means, look it up, means to exercise naked, the running, the fighting, the killing. They were the first, basically, the MMA practitioners and all this. And so sports have been around. Even Babylonian culture, they found little, things, games, balls that they played. The Mayans had something very much akin to basketball and highlight and all these type things. So sports, should Christians participate in? I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong getting together with your family, your church, friends, and having just a good time. Fellowship's part of it. God created us for fellowship. It's when things get out of balance, out of kilter. I'm going to tell you, if whether your sports team loses or not makes you feel bad, rather than you feeling bad that your neighbors are going to hell, the world's going to hell and all that, I'd really check myself. Anything has the potential to become an idol. Whatever comes between us and God is an idol. And so, again, the organized sports, if you ever get competitive in nature, how is that? Preferring your brother, preferring your sister. If you can't do it with a good spirit, if you just a cutthroat, gotta win, all this, man, I'd really be in a prayer room talking to the Lord and saying, are all these Christian virtues? America was such a Christian biblical society at one time in so many ways. And, people like Billy Sunday, professional baseball player, when they got what they got from God, they quit organized sports. I can remember my daddy telling me about old Preacher Rowe, that he would not pitch on Sunday because that's just what they did. And I do know sports, people talk about, well, what about the positive benefits of discipline? What about the positive benefits of teamwork, camaraderie? What about they all have chaplains? Many of them worship. Many of them give large sums of money to Christian causes. If you were to go into, let's say, the NFL, I would say probably the majority of the NFL rosters are some type of Christian and that type thing. But even the industry itself, Christians have always been against vanity. They have wanted, and I say Christians, it's a biblical thing. Vanity of vanities, avoid vain thoughts and these type things. And so the very sports world itself is a vain thing. And it's built upon, multi-billion dollars. You've got thousands of homeless people in major cities, but yet they're giving hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to sports teams to build coliseums there, this type thing. So, do you really care about the poor if you're doing all that? So this building upon vanity, worthlessness, is a dangerous thing in and of itself. And when you've got so much vanity from Hollywood, movies, computer games, apps, everything, to sports, then it is a very bad thing. So, I think scripturally, I think the United Pentecostal Church, I'm sure, has taken a wise stand through the years that Christians should not be a part of organized sports. It's a very good thing. You can learn disciplines, serving God outside of the realms of sports, so you don't need sports to do that. And I think those of you that have been a part, you know you've got a non-biblical attitude that, you're not trying to win the person to God. You're trying to get in their heads and, talk about them and all kind of stuff. And you're really not wanting their best. Christians, what true love is wanting the best for ourselves and others. And so you're probably not interceding for your team before you play, for the other team especially, that God would bless them. You're hoping they miss shots. You're hoping they do bad. Okay, I know I am on ground that angels colloquially fear to tread. But let's look at it. I think scripturally, Christians should not participate in organized sports. Come out from among them, be ye separate, saith the Lord. And I would be very careful with what you're watching, what you're following, the emotions you allow to get involved. Just checking out the sports page every so often is probably not a terrible thing. But to just get deeply involved in it, again, be careful. And you don't want to just make everything legalistic, right, wrong. You have the Romans 14 principle there. There's certain things you just thought, is this going to further my walk with God? Is this for the interest of spiritual progress and the soon coming of the Lord? So, love you. God bless you, the Christian in organized sports. Talk with you later.